Welcome to another session on basic genetics intended for children at the school level. In this particular video, we will learn about a concept called pure line. Now, a pure line in genetics refers to a population, basically members of a species. A population are members, many members of a species build up a population, just like we have got a human population. So, what is a pure line? Once again, a population that breeds true for a trait. Now, let me elucidate it by using an example. Now, let us assume that this plant here that I've drawn is a rose plant and it has a couple of characteristics, whether it probably will have like hundreds and hundreds of characteristics, but let us just take three observable characteristics here. And let us assume the first characteristic being the height. And this means that all the members of this particular population are, let us assume, tall. All the members have got red flowers, number two, and all the members of this particular population have terminal flowers. So I hope you understand the height of a plant, or what do we mean by tall or dwarf. Also, I hope you understand what do I mean by the flower color. It's fairly simple, but I'm not very sure whether you understand what do we understand by the terminal flower. Now, terminal and axial are terms used to describe the position of flowers in a plant. When a particular flower is found at the end of the stem or at the end of the branches, we say that the flowers are terminal. But if a flower arises from between the stem and a branch, let us say this is the stem, we know, you can see that this is the branch, and if a flower arises from this part, which is known as the axis, if the flower arises from here, then we call this as an axial flower. So the plant that we are considering for our understanding is a terminal flower. So let us assume that there's a population of rose plants with these three characteristics. When can we call this population as a pure line? We can call this population as a pure line under two circumstances. Now, how does a flower reproduce? A flower reproduces in two ways. Either it will self-pollinate or it will cross-pollinate, right? Both are the cases of sexual reproduction. Now, let us assume that this flower self-pollinates, which means that the pollens are going to fertilize the eggs or the ova present in the same flower. Now, if self-pollination occurs, what will be the end result? The end results will be seeds. Now, if all of these seeds germinate, let us say all of the seeds germinate, and upon germination, these seeds will also give rise to new saplings and later on plants. Now, all the plants that are formed, if they retain all the characteristics that were exhibited, all the traits exhibited by the parent, then we say we have a pure line. And these plants, if they are self-fertilized again, no matter how many generations pass on for self-fertilization, the characteristics are retained. If the characteristics are retained generation after generation after generation, we say that the particular population is breeding true for certain traits. And thus, all of these plants are known as pure lines. Now, this was the first case, if the plant self-pollinates. Again, if the members of the same population cross-pollinate, which means if one plant transfers the pollen to another plant and the other plant then is fertilized, and then the same thing happens, seeds are formed, and if all of those seeds again they germinate, if they germinate, and the plants that they produce, then all of the plants that are produced, if these particular offsprings represent the same characteristics, there is no alteration in the characteristics of traits. For example, all the plants are still tall, none of them are dwarf, all the plants have red flowers, the flowers are terminal, then we say that the characteristics have been conserved. And even when these particular offsprings they grow up, and if they are self-fertilized or if they are cross-fertilized, it doesn't matter how the fertilization takes place, but if at the end result of the population is the presence or retention of the same original characteristics, we say that a pure line has been formed or a pure line exists. Now, this pure line is extremely important in genetic experiments. And how are these pure lines made? We will learn about how pure lines are generated by geneticists in our next video. I hope you've understood what pure lines are. Pure lines can be generated for plants, for animals, and organisms, and other organisms. And let me just speak the definition once again. A pure line is a population that breeds true for a trade. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.